I'm getting on YouTube. It's already going to be 8 o'clock. I'm not going to waste my 2 hours of jail time waiting for people. Let's see what's going on. It's already. Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Judge Bonnie Rangel. It is my honor and pleasure and privilege to be judge of the 171st Judicial District Court. The date is June the 12th, 2020, 7:58 a.m. It's a little bit earlier than 8 o'clock. I'm happy about that. The United States Supreme Court has issued an order allowing courts to hold hearings remotely via Zoom and YouTube Live. The parties participating herein have agreed to hold this hearing remotely via Zoom and YouTube Live. Anyone out there that has any objection, can you please tell me right now verbally? Let the record reflect that there is no objection. I want everyone participating to know that Anita Garza is my court reporter and is taking everything down, is present, as well as Rebecca Gonzalez, my court coordinator. No recordings of the hearing is to be done by anyone participating or watching from the public. The only recording is the official court reporter's record. The chat option on the bottom is for your, if you need to chat and speak to your client, you can do so. Just ask me for permission and I'll be more than happy to give it to you. I want everybody to know that we are on YouTube Live to comply with the Texas Open Courts provision. Okay, now, with that being said, I think all we have is, and it's not all we have, but the only defense attorney is Mr. Trochet. So let's start with that one. Which one is your plea, Mr. Trochet?
Mr. Anderson, Your Honor, Mr. Ronnie Anderson.
Ronnie Anderson. I didn't get his plea papers.
They were, I've got an email from the jail saying that they had sent it to the court.
Becky, did I get them?
Yes, Judge, I sent them, but let me see. Yeah, because as they were coming in, I was marking my docket.
I know, but I didn't. I went through my whole email yesterday. I didn't get Anderson's. But let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and call it. Send it to me.
And still forward them to you?
Still, please.
Yes, okay.
Please. At this time, court calls cause number 2020-1871, the state of Texas versus Ronnie Anderson. Announcement of counsel, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Jose Trochet on behalf of Mr. Anderson. We are ready, Your Honor.
Very good. Where's Mr. Anderson? Do I see him? He's downtown, is what I'm told.
We're down.
Yeah, he is there, Judge.
Here.
Can't see him. There he is. Okay, Mr. Anderson, good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good, sir. Okay. Sir, do you see and recognize your attorney as your attorney in this case, Mr. Trochet, on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Trochet, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
I do, Your Honor.
Very well, sir. Okay, I'm going to ask that you please raise your right hand to be sworn. Let the record reflect that both parties have recognized each other. Mr. Anderson, please raise your right hand to be sworn.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Lower your hand, sir. I need your full name, please.
My name is Ronnie Anderson.
Date of birth, sir.
4/24/62.
And where were you born, sir?
Lotney, Texas.
Rodney?
No, Lotney.
Lotney, Texas. And you are here represented by Mr. Trochet, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Trochet, do you waive formal arraignment?
I do, Your Honor. I need to let the court know that we have a waiver of arraignment that was included in the plea papers, and it was sent over. Your court should have it, Your Honor.
Thank you. But do you waive formal arraignment at this time?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Any reason to believe your client is not competent to enter into this plea here today, sir?
No, Your Honor.
I need to ask you, Mr. Anderson, have you ever been found incompetent by a court of law or by a doctor?
No, ma'am.
I find you are competent to enter into this plea here today. I understand you were born in Texas, so I assume you are a United States citizen, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Should you not be entering into this plea of guilty, you could face deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, denial of naturalization under federal law. You understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Other than the plea bargain, are you pleading guilty because you are guilty and for no other reason, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Did somebody promise you something else other than this plea bargain to plead guilty here today?
No, ma'am.
Is anybody threatening or forcing you to be here?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you want to, or because Mr. Trochet is forcing you to plead guilty?
Because I want to.
And are you satisfied with Mr. Trochet's representation of you in this matter?
Yes, ma'am.
You've signed each and every page of States 1. Did you read that document, or did
Yes.
Mr. Trochet explain it to you?
He explained it, but I read it.
Okay, good, sir. And did you understand? Very important rights you've given up. Right to a trial by jury, right to confront witnesses that are brought to testify against you, and the right to bring witnesses to testify in your own behalf. By signing States 1, you've given up those rights, and do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign this document freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, does the state wish to make a motion to reduce your range of punishment or category of offense, Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor. This plea will be proceeding under the provisions of 1244B.
Is there a victim impact statement?
No, Your Honor.
What's the plea agreement?
Your Honor, the plea agreement calls for 65 days El Paso County Jail time served. And he will also be pleading to some misdemeanor cases, time served as well. And those will be a theft as well as fail to ID.
A theft as well as a what?
Fail to ID, Your Honor?
Theft and a failure to ID. Very good. Is that your understanding of the plea agreement, Mr. Trochet?
It is, Your Honor.
And Mr. Anderson, is that your understanding of the plea agreement as well, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you asking me to accept that agreement, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand I don't have to accept it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you also understand that if I don't accept it, sir, I'll allow you to withdraw your plea. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Range of punishment is 1 year El Paso County Jail and or a $4,000 fine. You understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Understanding range of punishment, your rights under the law, the plea agreement, sir, how do you plead? How do you plead, sir? I didn't hear that.
Guilty.
Evidence, please, Mr. Nunez.
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the state would seek to admit as State's Exhibit number 1, the plea papers in this case, and the indictment in this case as State's Exhibit number 2. Furthermore, the state would proffer that if this case did go to trial, the state would be able to prove all of the allegations contained in the indictment beyond a reasonable doubt. And Your Honor, on the date of offense, officers ended up conducting a traffic stop on defendant's vehicle after he entered a public roadway with his lights off and after turning without signaling his intent to turn. After making contact with Mr. Anderson, Mr. Anderson gave the officers a false name and date of birth. Officers then later end up IDing Mr. Anderson and finding out that he has warrants. So after he is arrested and taken to the station, police officers search him again where they find crack cocaine in his front right pocket.
Any objections to the evidence as summarized by the state, Mr. Trochet?
Just very quickly, Your Honor, I think it was just cocaine. I'm not sure it was crack cocaine, but that's a minor. But nonetheless, I do want to, I think it was just cocaine.
Okay. Any objection to the submission of States Exhibits 1 and 2, sir?
No,
Mr.
no
Trochet?
objection.
States 1 and 2 will be admitted. At this time, I will accept your guilty plea in the plea agreement. I find that your plea and the agreement have been entered into freely, knowingly, voluntarily. I further find the evidence presented by the state does substantiate a finding of guilt, sir. Therefore, I find you guilty of misdemeanor possession of a controlled substance. I hereby sentence you to serve 65 days El Paso County Jail. I want the record to reflect that it is the intention. If this is a time-served sentence. And he will plead to misdemeanors, time served as well as part of the agreement. Anything else, Mr. Trochet?
Just a question, Your Honor. Mr. Anderson is awaiting a parole hearing, and I was just wondering if the 2 other misdemeanors are going to be signed today by the court, or do we have to send them to the other court, or I would just hope that you could go ahead and sign those misdemeanors.
I will do that, but I have not received the misdemeanor pleas in this case. Miss Becky, have we received them?
No, and no, I haven't.
Yeah, we haven't received them. Not in this case, I haven't received them.
And
So
then
Mr. Trochet, contact, I guess, the clerk of the court or the court and tell them I guess it goes through Amy, Becky, and then it comes to me, and I'll sign them today if I get them.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be sure to get them.
My understanding is that it's no longer Amy. You contact the court coordinator for the individual court where the case is coming from. Yes.
There it is. You got it from Mr. ADA.
All right, I will do that, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
And Judge, before they get off, I haven't received
Oh.
the plea papers from the jail. And I'm thinking too, my mailbox doesn't show, but
Becky, I told you I didn't get them either.
yeah, I don't have them, but
I can
but
get
I
'em.
know Judge Trochet went yesterday and got them signed.
Right, we did it on the phone, and Your Honor, I do have an email from the jail indicating that they were sent, so I wonder if he sent them to me. If they did, I'll go ahead and send them over to you, okay?
Okay, we just need them. I hadn't got them. I forgot to tell you one thing, Judge Trochet, we're still on the record. Yeah, your trial court certification, your client's not entitled to an appeal. It's a plea bargain case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, Becky, we're gonna have to do a better job of getting these plea papers. I don't know what we're gonna do. It's a bit frustrating, Miss Becky, but
Yeah, and I know, Judge, that when they send them to me, sometimes I ask that they send them also back to the attorney, because sometimes if I don't get them, the attorney sends them to me. But if I already receive them and send them to you, I just keep the attorneys in my Dropbox.
okay.
And I did
Okay,
receive
the
them.
plea papers, Judge, you just better make sure that we get all the plea papers so your client can,
I will have them in there by 10 o'clock this morning, Your Honor. Thank you.
thank you. You all may be excused. Have a great day.
Yes, have a great day, Judge.
Thank you. Stay safe. Downtown facility, I think we're done with you, right? We just had one there?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Thank you so much for all your help. Stay safe.
Thank you,
And
Your
good
Honor.
luck to you. Good luck to you, Mr. Anderson.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. You may be excused. Okay. Now, the only other defense attorney I have, I think, is Mr. Morales. That's the only one that I have just let in, and that's on Kingston Damas. But Mr. Morales, are you there? Can you talk to me before we get on the record?
Yes, Judge. Sorry, I was just turning off the mute.
No worries, no worries. Mr. Morales, I was told that you asked for a plea date, and then now you're asking for a bond hearing. What happened?
Actually, Judge, I had intended to ask for a bond hearing, and I think my assistant Gabby got it mixed up, and she had requested it. But we had needed a bond hearing. We weren't exactly ready for a plea just yet.
Well, okay, I guess my question to Mr. Nunez, Mr. Morales is there. They have Mr. Kingston Damas. Can we proceed on a bond hearing rather than a plea on Kingston Damas today? Mr. Nunez, Mr. Martinez, do you want notice?
I would want notice, Your Honor.
Okay, okay. I'm trying to help you out, Mr. Morales.
I understand, Judge, and we did file a motion. So I guess if we could get that scheduled as soon as possible, that it might also resolve the case as well.
Okay, I just have to tell you, I think we're on, my Friday at the jail next week is a holiday. So I'm getting cheated out of 2 hours for my defendants. My next Friday is full. So it's not gonna be until 3 Fridays from now, Mr. Morales, if we have time. I've got to tell you that. That's just how the system is. I'm sorry. You know, I would accommodate you otherwise, but holiday next Friday. I even asked him, can't I get an hour or two just on another day? And they told me, no. No. If your jail day is on a holiday, you're screwed for that week. So I'm just telling you, Mr. Morales, it's going to be 3 weeks, and I want Mr. Damas to know that it's not you. It's not you, Mr. Morales, Mr. Damas. It's the system that we have to live with because of this coronavirus. Okay.
That's on the bond hearing, Judge. I just want to make sure my client understood that we have to wait a while for a bond hearing.
It is on the bond hearing. It's going to be 3 weeks at least, and I don't even know if that Friday's full.
And then we have a list. I have a list, Leonard, of other ones that had asked for bond.
Okay, there it is. There it is. So it may not even be that following Friday, but I'm just telling you guys. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Morales?
I don't think so at this point, Judge. I'll just let my client know. I'll be in contact with you real quick, Kingston, to let you know what's going on.
Okay.
But
you can't.
We can't have the bond hearing today. We're gonna have to have it, but it's not gonna be for about 3 weeks.
At least.
Did you catch all that? Did you catch all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least 3 weeks. It may not be through. We have a list for bond hearings at the jail. What happened? I'm sorry,
What was
sir.
that?
Can I just sign?
Can he enter a plea, Judge? Well, I know
Well-
we'd have to do that, but we'd have to get the plea papers and everything else put together.
Right. It is set for a plea today. I think,
Mhm.
Mr. Nunez, you sent Mr. Morales the plea papers, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, he's not signed. If we can move on to another case, the plea papers are at the jail, or where are the plea papers right now? Mr.
I don't know if the plea papers were provided to the jail, Judge. I don't believe so.
Okay, so maybe we, Gomez, can I talk to you there at the annex? Gomez, at the annex, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, sir, if we get you the plea papers on Mr. Kingston Damas right now, well, Mr. You have to go through, the papers with him, Mr. Morales. I don't want him just to go willy-nilly, or did you already do that?
We've discussed some of this, Judge. I don't imagine that it would take an inordinate amount of time to go through that stuff.
Well-
If I could speak to him and
Right. Can we put Mr. Kingston on a jail call and on another phone, Gomez, so he can sign the plea papers with Mr. Morales on a jail call?
Yes,
that-
it's 856
Hold on, man.
4891.
856-4891.
Yes.
And then Leonard, don't you need his email so you need to sign all the papers and send them there with Gomez so he can get them to sign them. So
Right.
get that email from Gomez where he's at right there at the jail.
Yeah, send it to the annex court, please. At EP County.
Ms. Becky, you need to be calling these attorneys. There's no other defense attorney. I'm at a screeching halt.
But call them for what, Judge? They don't have the invite till 9:30.
Everybody, this is the only,
Yeah, because Diego Rangel ended up being needed an interpreter at the last minute.
so all the other pleas that are set for today are Spanish.
Yes.
All
So,
right, Judge. I'm going to leave the meeting and get on
got
this
it.
piece of
Yes,
it, Judge.
bye. Okay,
So I didn't know if you could, I don't know, Judge. I didn't know if you could log off on this one, log on at 9:30, ask Leonard to do the 9:30 and start the pleas if they come in early, and then Leonard just goes on the 9:30 call when his plea is ready.
okay, Becky, we set 1 or 2 pleas in English for an hour and a half, and then 5 Spanish pleas in half an hour.
Yeah, we had 3 pleas. Yes, we had 3 pleas in the morning. And then I had set 1, 2, 3, 4 in at 9:30. But then one of them in the morning became a 9:30, and then Leonard's ended up canceling. So you only had Judge Trochet's.
Okay, this was not good planning, Becky. I don't know how the heck we did this. Okay,
Yeah, it's just that we've never had so many pleas that needed interpreters before. We only had 1. That's why we only had 1 or 2. So that's why you did the invites at 9:30.
okay, we're not gonna do this anymore. We're not gonna do this anymore. This is not a good way to do it. This is not a good way to do it. Okay.
Let's go.
So, I'm sorry? So we don't have any more pleas anymore until 9:30.
Yes, Judge, except for Leonard.
Let's go.
And if the jail people are already there, I don't know if they're already there where Gomez is. I can get the attorneys, I could tell them to start getting on the invite early.
For the 9:30?
Yeah, open up the 9:30. Does it not open till 9:30?
No, I can open it up early.
Okay, so I'm saying right now, if the jail people are already there with Gomez at the annex, if he already has the other ones there at 9:30, then can I ask Gomez, so this way I can call the attorneys and start telling them to get on the invite so we can start the pleas early?
They're here, they're ready.
They're ready, see, Judge?
I know, but it's an hour and 15. To call an attorney and tell them to show up an hour earlier.
Yes. I can see which ones are ready.
And
And we
then
also need to check on the interpreter also.
we need the interpreter
Oh,
too.
that's right.
We need the interpreter too, Becky.
Yeah, that's right. Wow. Mhm.
From now on, whether we need an interpreter or not, you're going to ask for one at 8 o'clock in the morning. And we're just going to have one invite. We're going to set them all at 8 o'clock in the morning. We're going to request a Spanish interpreter to be on in case they're needed. If
Right.
a Spanish interpreter is needed, we will handle those Spanish pleas first, Becky.
Right.
Then the interpreter can leave. If there are no Spanish pleas, oh, if we didn't realize we don't have any Spanish pleas. Thank you very much. Have a good Friday. That's how we're going to have to handle it, because this is wasting my precious 2 hours. Right?
Yes,
That sounds better, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, this is too confusing and too
Yeah,
outrageous.
because to try to see, okay, if we do an interpreter at 8 o'clock to 8:30, and then if we have the other please, so it's better not to have two different
I'm just
invites.
gonna have an interpreter.
Yeah, because you could just turn on and off the switch for the interpreter on the invite, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna be a little bit, that's a little bit, but that's better than wasting my time, wasting
Oh,
my
yeah.
hours. Because look at now,
Yeah, you're usually doing already 3 or 4 pleas right now, Judge. But that was before because we only had 1 or 2 that needed.
We're still on YouTube.
we have to be, Rick.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to be. Shut it off and then come back on. And I mean, no, I know, Rick. I know. I'm just very frustrated. That's all. And maybe it's good to be on YouTube. I'm not saying what I'm thinking. I'm calm. So you haven't gotten with your attorney yet on the phone? Mr. Damas.
Nobody's called yet, Judge.
There they are. I think it's there. What a waste of time. Okay, not much we can do. We just have to go with the flow. I was already concerned because I said there aren't very many defense attorneys that are in here. What is happening? Yeah, that's what we're gonna have to do.
And that was the first thing I started asking them, Judge. You need an interpreter. You need an interpreter.
I know.
And that's why I tell you the other one, what's his name? Diego Rangel. I had asked Mr. Sanchez and he said no. And then at the last minute, he's telling me he needed an interpreter. So I had to switch him to 9:30.
Becky, you just sent me the plea papers on the Kingston Damas?
No.
Yes, you did, 858. Forward plea papers on Kingston Damas from Leonard Morales. Becky, you're muted. What did you say, Becky?
I didn't send them, Judge. Maybe Leonard did? No?
I don't know, Becky. It says Rebecca Gonzalez. From
Wow.
Rebecca to Bonnie, 612. Oh, you know what it is?
Oh, it's the email that you wanted.
It's
Yeah,
his
it's the email that you wanted where he said they weren't ready.
I'm looking at the subject line. The subject line says plea papers. That's what it is. Okay, yeah, because I told you to send me the email where it says he's requesting a plea.
That he was requesting the bond hearing.
Right, right. Chronos has to be today, everybody. Did you know that? I'm just reminding you.
Yeah, I already did mine.
Good. How come I get so many, Becky? Like, look at Isaac Gutierrez. Isaac Gutierrez, who's a DA, declined the invite. Why did we send it to Rene Gutierrez? Or I'm sorry, Isaac Gutierrez.
I didn't, Judge. Oh, and no, I did, but he was the one that requested it. And then that's when he couldn't be here and he had another ADA cover or something. But I don't know why they declined it. He's the one that had asked for it, and then he forwarded it to the DA that was going to cover.
My point being, I get clogged up. My emails, you know, we're suffering from
I know.
10,000 emails. So every time somebody declines or accepts, I get an email. I get a notification. I get a notification. So we want to try to send it to the people that are pertinent and necessary and relevant.
Right.
So I don't get all these declinations, 10,000 decline, decline, decline. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, I don't send it. I don't send it to everybody, Judge. If he's a ADA, the ADAs forward it to them.
Okay.
And then on, but I thought on that one, I thought he requested the invite because I don't even send it to him. I don't know which
David
cases.
Peña.
I don't know which cases they're on.
Who's a David Peña? David Peña always keeps declining and declining.
I don't know, Judge. I don't send it to them.
Okay. It probably gets forwarded to somebody else, and then
No, you know what it is, Judge, too, is that I was noticing that too, but you know what it is that on the sheriff's list and the detention facility, I send one to the sheriff's officers and they have a list of people that they send it out to. And they have like a long list. So if people don't get it, they tell me not delivered or whatever. And if I see it's on that sheriff's list, I just delete it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's because I send it, when I sent the ones for the jail, I had sent it to the annex, the detention facility, and the sheriff's officers, the escorts or something.
Okay, Becky, I guess in an effort to try not to waste any more time, it looks like we probably will be done by 9 o'clock on this plea. Becky, you're muted.
Okay, now I'm muted and not unmuted like yesterday.
Are you muting on purpose or does it just mute?
No, I was muting right now on purpose because
Okay. Ms. Becky, maybe you need to call the defense attorneys and see if they can be available at 9.
Okay, Judge. To start getting on at 9 o'clock so we could start the pleas.
Well, tell them that it looks like I'll be finished on another Zoom meeting by 9. So if they could be available just half an hour earlier.
Okay, so.
But the first person you have to contact is the interpreter.
Yeah, but I have to.
Interpreter can
Right.
do.
But if he's not downstairs, I have to email him.
Okay, that's okay. But
Okay.
I'm just saying that before you call the attorneys, we have to make sure the interpreter is available.
Oh, okay. Let me do that right now, Judge.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's what we have to do. Well, see, Rick, the only problem I've got is if I go off Zoom, then I have to go on again and give my whole speech.
Yeah,
You understand?
yeah. All right.
And I'm just not willing to do that, I don't think, at this point. I'm very frustrated already, as you know, as you can tell.
Yep.
Yeah, so,
Morning, Judge.
good morning, Mr. Artemio. How are you this morning? Make me happy. Give me some good news.
Judge, I was looking at the docket and Miss Juliana Flores, it said at 9:30, like if she needs an interpreter. But I remember this lady and she speaks English very well.
Really? Miss Becky, are you there? Can you talk, or are you on the phone with the interpreter?
I'm on the phone, Judge. He's downstairs, so I'm gonna ask him real quick. Hold on just a moment.
Okay.
And just so you know, I do look through my emails. I did send, I don't know if it
When
matters,
will
but I
we be
sent
able to-
Isaac would get us the invite for the Zoom hearing. I am going to cover from, because I know he's doing tied up right now, but he should be able to make it though, but he does have everything.
Okay, well, he declined it.
I know, I don't know why.
He declined it. Yeah. And
When
my
will we
only
be able
thing
to
is not,
get on to it?
trust me, I don't take it personal, Mr. Nunez, when they decline. I just get so many emails. I don't want to know who's accepted and who's declined, and that doesn't matter to me. But there's
You know
no
what I
way
find out is what I found out is if you accept, it starts hiding like in your inbox somewhere. So I haven't done
Yes.
I haven't responded, and I just flag it. And
Right.
it's like the easiest way to do it for me.
I
Yes,
lose it
it's
too.
true.
I don't know what happens, but you're right. I've accepted Zoom meetings and it disappears and it goes somewhere into cyberspace.
It goes to your calendar, Judge. It's easier because when you accept it, then like 10 minutes before the hearing, it pops up as a reminder. And then you just click on it and it takes you to the link.
See, and I still get the reminders without accepting. Which is also cool. So I can find it and I get the reminder.
Wow.
But I agree with David. For me, if I accept it, it disappears. It's
Top-
weird.
No, it disappears to me too, but then Mr.
Yeah, I was like, what? I shouldn't have
It
accepted
goes
that.
into calendar. While we're here wasting time, let me speak to you guys. I just got,
Okay, Judge, but before you start speaking to them,
tell
I
me.
talked to the interpreter. He said, yes, he can sign in at 9 o'clock.
Okay,
Okay, so let me start calling the attorneys.
thank you, Miss Becky.
Okay,
One thing
Judge.
though, one thing, Becky.
Uh-huh.
Well, forget it. I'm not even gonna worry about that. Artemio says that Juliana Flores can speak English very well. He remembers her. Who asked for an interpreter?
Can't we just ask the jail to see if whoever needs one? Since they're all at the annex, we could ask the detention officers to see if they need an interpreter.
That's a good idea, Rick. Miss Gomez, Miss Gomez. Detention Officer Gomez.
Yes.
I didn't mean to call you a miss. I'm sorry. I'm just frustrated and angry and upset.
It's all right.
Gomez, can you ask Juliana Flores if she can speak? She's down there, right in the annex. Ask her if
Yes.
she speaks English.
Okay.
Assess her for me, will you, Gomez, and let me know?
Yes.
That's a good idea. I'm not thinking, I'm just too frustrated. That is a good idea. Because then we can tell Uraga to get on this invite and we can do her. without the-
Okay. But I asked the attorneys, Judge, because
I know, Becky, but you know these attorneys?
Judge, she doesn't need an attorney. Interpreter.
She doesn't.
No.
And Uraga told you she did?
Who?
I think so, Judge. I wouldn't have put it at 9:30.
Ramos Isaac also doesn't need one.
Those are the two that you need to get them and get them on right now and tell them they need to get on right now to do the plea, Becky.
And
Oh,
Isaac Ramos, what?
Uraga. Huh?
What did he say about Isaac Ramos?
He doesn't need one either.
The attorneys, because I emailed them, Judge, and they're the ones telling me yes.
I know. Call them up and tell them they have to be right now. I want them on Zoom right now to do the plea because they don't need Spanish. Please, right now.
Judicial clemency for defendants placed on committee to. And there's a waiver.
Thank you, Mr. Artemio. I appreciate that.
Welcome, Judge.
Let's see if we can get somebody. Before yeah, Becky interrupted a little bit. I want Artemio, Ms. Ortiz is here. I just let Ms. Ortiz in. Mr. Martinez and Mr. Nunez. Oh, really, anybody. Anybody. I want you to give me the positives and negatives of Zoom. Do you like Zoom, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor, I like it very much. I
Okay.
think it's remarkably efficient.
Do you have
I
any
really
negatives? Do you have any negatives on it?
Every now and again, the technical issues where audio doesn't work or the network connection isn't good. But in these COVID times, I think it's a wonderful solution. It's spectacular. It's a game changer. It really is.
Yeah. I think I agree with you too. I agree with you. Mr. Nunez, do you have any negatives?
That's exact. All I could say were positive, and I was thinking about the negatives, but I mean, I can't really find any other than the ones that Mr. Martinez addressed.
The technical,
Technical stuff.
the internet or the. Mr. Artemio, any negatives on Zoom?
Oh, Judge, I
No.
really like it.
As well too?
Mhm.
Okay. Nobody has any negatives? Ms. Robles?
We haven't
Yesenia?
even tapped into the full potential, Judge. We haven't even
What?
started. We haven't even tapped into the full potential. We haven't even started sharing screens. We haven't done
No.
chat rooms and.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe defense attorneys may have a different perspective because they would like to be next to their client whispering stuff. Ms. Robles, what do you think about Zoom?
I think it's working pretty well for us being new to it.
Right. Okay. No negatives? Do you have any negatives why you don't like it?
Not that I can think of as of right now. We haven't come into any problems.
Okay. Mr. Rick, what are you thinking?
I'm enjoying it pretty good. I have no issues at all.
No negative.
No, just basically like Ivan said, also the technical stuff, losing internet and weird things like that. But yeah, other than that, though, yeah.
Who else wants to chime in as to negatives or positives of Ms. Ortiz? You want to tell me? Do you like Zoom?
She's on mute.
I do, Your Honor.
Ms. Ortiz, do you like Zoom?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay.
It lets us work.
Any negatives about it? No. Nothing? No negatives. Now, as the court reporter, Ms. Anita, what are you thinking?
It's okay for the most part. I haven't had any trouble really doing the criminal hearings. It's the family hearings that I'm having problems with.
Well,
and it's
why? Because people are disrespecting and talking over each other and screaming and yelling and irrational.
Just a little bit.
Okay. But you know what? That is the fault. That's the fault of the judges. The judges need to calm everybody down.
And then like the attorneys, they expect you to give them instructions to their clients how to work Zoom.
Oh God.
And it's like, no, you need to tell them how to do it and then get and do it, because they waste, like last week, I was on there for an hour before the hearing even started for them trying to set up all of their stuff and get going and finally. So yes and no. So right now, the criminal, I haven't had any problems.
Problems with?
It's
the family law. Have you done any civil? You've done some civil with me, but they're just status conferences, but it's not that.
No.
Have you done motions hearings? There we go. Mr. Lenny's here. I think we're ready for the plea. Have you done motions hearing?
Not yet. And that's what we get into where we have to do exhibits.
Right. See, that's where we need to really start substantive.
Yeah.
Like the negatives and the positives. Okay. Mr. Morales, are we on and ready for the plea then? So we can hurry? Mr. Morales? Mr. Lenny Morales, I can't see you. There you go.
Sorry, Judge. I got cut off a minute ago. I just wanted to let the jail know. I've been calling back, but I haven't been able to get through. It's busy. It's ringing busy.
All right, did you finish with the plea papers?
I know they have the papers, Judge. I think we were some of the way through, and then I got cut off. The call dropped. But I've been trying to call back. It's just ringing busy. I wanted to let them know if we could.
Try calling again.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, we're good, Judge.
Yes.
Give me a minute.
Yes. Hurry.
Judge, Mr. Uraga is gonna get on right now. He said
Good.
it would be about 10 minutes, so that was 5 minutes ago. And then
Good.
I called Felix. Felix is on Isaac Ramos. And
what
he says that Isaac Ramos doesn't need an interpreter. I said, okay, how come people are telling me they need interpreters and I'm setting them at 9:30? So I'm calling all the attorneys again for the next set of pleas. Oh no, we're gonna set them all at 8 o'clock, right?
With an interpreter.
Yeah, with an interpreter, not all pleas are going, we're gonna do one invite for 8 o'clock. Okay. All right, Judge. So Felix said he doesn't need an interpreter, Judge, but they're making him do a mandatory training right now that finishes at 9 o'clock. So he said, so I told him just to go ahead and sign in on the 9:30 invite, but right at 9 o'clock. Okay.
I may be on, okay. Let's see. Keep me on track. Okay, I don't know. I'm lost. I'm lost today and I'm frustrated and lost. That's all I can say.
I know, and you were all peppy this morning.
I'm not very peppy anymore. I'm not peppy at all. I'm pretty upset. Pretty upset, Miss Becky. Yeah, I'm not very happy with how I have structured these Fridays. And I will assume full responsibility for this disaster and fiasco.
Yes.
Mr. Nunez or Mr. Martinez, who's handling Kingston Dama's plea?
I will be. And I'm sorry, what plea is this, Your Honor? Juliana Flores?
Kingston Damas.
Oh, I will, Your Honor. Well, it'll be all of them. Really.
What's the plea agreement there? What did you agree with Mr. Morales?
It's 180 days confinement state jail facility, Your Honor.
Okay.
It's all, except he has about 152.
Okay.
Your Honor, so.
Okay. That's good. I'll take that. That's good. Let's just hurry up and get it done. I'm happy that Uraga is going to take care of, he's going to be on in 10 minutes. Ms. Becky, do you have any questions that you can ask me right now on YouTube Live? Because I'm very angry. I don't know if I even want to talk the rest of the day. I'm upset. Remember, we're on YouTube Live, but can you ask me any questions right now you need to know? Becky? Oh, she's trying to get a hold of
She's on the phone, Judge.
She's trying to get a hold of the attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying. Artemio, did you have any issues you need to talk to me about?
No, Judge, I think we're good for now. You signed the conditions of probation that for Mr. Olivas and Ms. Perez. Those were the only thing that's pending. We're just missing one lady that you remember they pled out in May, and then you give them till June 15th for them to come in and sign. Those are the only ones. We're just missing one.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
We're good.
Good. Okay. Mr. Martinez, are we good? Any issues? We need to talk. Mr. Morales, are we back again? Are we ready for the plea?
They should be sending you the documents now,
That's
Judge.
okay.
I think they're scanning them through.
Let's start. Okay. At this time, court calls number 2019-4335, the state of Texas versus Kingston Damas. Announcement of counsel, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Your Honor, Leonard Morales on behalf of Kingston Damas, and he is coming up to the video screen right now.
Damas or Damas?
Damas.
Are you there, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Damas, do you see and recognize your attorney as Mr. Morales, the attorney in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Morales, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
I do, Your Honor.
Let the record reflect that both parties have identified each other. Mr. Damas, please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Lower your hand. I need your full name, sir.
Kingston Damas,
Date of birth.
5/10/91.
Where were you born?
Here. El Paso.
In jail?
Yeah, El Paso.
And you are here represented by Mr. Morales, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Morales, do you waive formal arraignment?
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
Any reason to believe your client is not competent to enter into this plea here today, sir?
Your Honor, I have no reason to doubt my client's competency this morning.
I need to ask you, Mr. Damas, have you ever been found incompetent by a court of law or by a doctor?
No, ma'am.
I find you are competent to enter into this plea here today. I understand you were born El Paso, Texas. I assume you are a United States citizen, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Should you not be entering into this plea of guilty, you could face deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, denial of naturalization under federal law. You understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Other than the plea bargain, you're pleading guilty because you are guilty and for no other reason.
Yes, ma'am.
Did somebody promise you something else other than this plea bargain to plead guilty here today?
No, ma'am.
Is anybody threatening or forcing you to be here?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you want to, or Mr. Morales is forcing you to plead guilty?
On my own will.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Morales' representation of you in this matter?
Yes, ma'am.
You've signed each and every page of States 1. Did you read that document? Or did Mr. Morales explain it to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand very important rights you've given up? Right to a trial by jury, right to confront witnesses that are brought to testify against you, and the right to bring witnesses to testify in your own behalf. By signing States 1, you've given up those rights, and do you understand that? We didn't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign this document freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, does the state wish to make a motion to reduce the range of punishment or category of offense, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Is there a victim impact statement?
No, Your
It's
Honor.
a possession case. What's the plea agreement?
Your Honor, the plea agreement calls for 180 days confinement, state jail.
Any objection? Is that your understanding of the plea agreement, Mr. Morales?
It is, Your Honor.
And Mr. Damas, is that your understanding of the plea agreement as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you asking me to accept that agreement, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand I don't have to accept it, right?
Correct.
You also understand if I don't accept it, I'll allow you to withdraw your plea. You understand that as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Range of punishment is not less than 180 days, no more than 2 years in a state jail facility and or a $10,000 fine. You understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Understanding range of punishment, your rights under the law, the plea agreement, sir, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Evidence?
Your Honor, at this time, the state would seek to admit as State's Exhibit number 1, the plea papers in this case, and the indictment in this case is State's Exhibit number 2. Furthermore, the state would proffer that if this case did go to trial, the state would be able to prove all of the allegations contained in the indictment beyond a reasonable doubt. And Your Honor, on the date of offense, the officers conducted a consensual encounter with Mr. Damas after noticing his car to be running with the headlight on. Officers then asked for his ID, and after identifying him, they found out he had multiple traffic warrants. Officers then conducted a search incident to arrest, and a canine found the methamphetamine inside of his vehicle.
Any objection to the evidence summarized by the state, Mr. Morales?
No, Your Honor.
Any objection to states 1 and 2 into evidence?
No, Your Honor.
States 1 and 2 will be admitted. At this time, I will accept your guilty plea and the plea agreement. I find that the plea and the agreement have been entered into freely, knowingly, voluntarily. I further find the evidence presented by the state does substantiate a finding of guilt. Therefore, I find you guilty possession of a controlled substance. I hereby sentence you to serve 180 days state jail facility. You will get credit for the time that you have served. Your client is not entitled to an appeal. It's a plea bargain case. Mr. Morales, anything else?
Your Honor, my client wanted me to ask the DA, Mr. Nunez, one last time if he would consider taking any of this matter under 1244. My client has about 6 months jail time right now, but I mean, he should be done fairly soon. But I don't know the exact count. But I don't know if Mr. Nunez would be inclined to do that.
Mr. Nunez, he's talking to you.
I hear it. I mean, I wish we could have this conversation prior to the plea, Judge, but I mean, I would have to respectfully decline.
Okay, there it is, Mr.
That's
Morales.
understood, Judge.
I will
Understood,
say
Judge.
that Mr. Damas does also have, I was going to tell the court, he has a pending POM, and I will dismiss that. And I'll be sending the dismissal shortly, Your Honor.
That's
Very
something,
good,
Mr. Thomas. That's something. Anything else, Mr. Morales?
No, Your Honor, that's all.
Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Very well. You may be excused. Have a great day. Good luck to you, Mr. Damas. Thank you, sir. You may be excused. The next one is Juliana Flores. At this time, court calls cause number 2018 5477, the state of Texas versus Juliana Flores. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Honorable for Ms. Flores, Your Honor, we're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Uraga, for coming
Good morning,
early.
Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. I appreciate you accommodating the court, sir, really.
Not a problem, Your Honor.
And Miss Juliana doesn't need an interpreter.
She does not.
Yes, okay. I think you told Becky you did, though. That's why we booked you for 9:30.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Miss Flores?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen as your attorney in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Uraga, do you see and recognize Miss Flores as your client and the defendant in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Ms., let the record reflect that both parties have identified each other. Ms. Flores, please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Very well. I need your full name first
Ana Flores,
and date of birth.
11/24/1981,
And where were you born?
El Paso, Texas.
And you are here represented by Mr. Uraga, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You have signed a waiver, which is part of state one. By signing this waiver, you've given up rights incident to this proceeding. For example, the right to have a hearing, the right to confront witnesses that are brought to testify against you, and the right to bring witnesses to testify in your own behalf. By signing that waiver, you've given up those rights, and do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you stipulate that you are one and the same, Juliana Flores, on the 30th day of May, 2019, you entered a plea of guilty, count 1 forgery, count 2 forgery, and you were given 5 years deferred adjudication probation. Do you stipulate to that?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you stipulate to the allegations in the motion to adjudicate?
Yes, ma'am.
And to that motion, how do you plead all allegations, true or not true?
True.
Evidence, please.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would seek to admit the motion to adjudicate that was filed in this case as State's Exhibit number 1 and the plea papers as State Exhibit number 2. Furthermore, the state would proffer that if this case did go to a contested revocation, we'd be able to prove all of the allegations contained in the motion to adjudicate by a preponderance of the evidence.
Any objection to the evidence as summarized by the state, Mr. Uraga?
No objection, Your Honor.
Any objection to the admission of States 1 consisting of 4 documents, the plea papers?
No objection, Your Honor.
States 1 consisting of 4 documents will be admitted. What is the plea agreement in this case, gentlemen, or Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, the plea agreement calls for 10 months confinement, state jail facility.
Very well. Is that your understanding of the plea agreement, Mr. Uraga?
Yes, Your Honor, that's our understanding. We'll just ask the court to give her credit for any time that she's served in this case.
Of course, I will. I will. Ms. Flores, is that your understanding of the agreement as well?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're asking me to accept it?
Yes, ma'am.
With that being said, I will accept your plea of true and the plea agreement. Therefore, I hereby revoke your deferred status, find you guilty counts 1 and 2 forgery. I hereby sentence you to serve 10 months in the state jail facility. You will get credit for all the time that you have served. Anything else, Mr. Uraga?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Flores, best of luck to you. Thank you very much. You may be excused, Mr. Uraga. Again, the court truly appreciates you accommodating us so early, sir. Thank
Not
you.
a problem, Your Honor. Anytime. Thank you. Good luck, Ms. Flores. Later, David.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Uraga.
May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, so Becky, there was another one. Isaac Ramos, you said spoke English, right, Mr. Deputy Gomez?
Yes, ma'am, he does.
Okay, and what public defender did you say you were calling, Miss Becky, for that one?
She said it was Felix Castañon.
Felix Castañon.
At 9, but he's gonna be here at 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Ish. And then we have the interpreter getting on at 9 o'clock with a different invite.
Judge. Okay. With, well, okay, I just talked to Ignacio Estrada's office. Mr. Olivas is gonna get on right now at 9 o'clock. I called at the same time Roberto Sanchez's office was calling me to confirm the 9:30. I asked her well, I told her it's a 9:30 invite, but I asked her to see if Mr. Roberto Sanchez can sign in at 9 o'clock. And she goes, let me let him know because he was going to be late. And I'm like, well, no, tell him to sign in right now at 9.
Can't be late. He can't be
Okay.
late. Okay,
And then Felix is the other. I called Anthony Gonzalez's office because he's on one case on Jaime Ramos, and Felix Castañon is on the other case on Jaime Ramos. And Felix said he'll sign in as soon as his training's over, which will be at 9 o'clock on the 9:30 invite. But I called Anthony Gonzalez's office right now, and there was only a voicemail, and I don't have his cell phone.
Okay,
So
so
I'll send him an email and see if he reads the email.
well, we have Isaac Ramos that speaks English right now. Isaac Ramos is right there. I think I'm looking at Isaac Ramos, right, Mr. Ramos?
Oh, but that's Felix Castañon.
Right, sir? Are you Isaac Ramos, sir?
Ma'am.
Yes, he is. Okay, so do we keep him on the 9 o'clock, on the 8 o'clock invite, or do we move Ramos to the 9 o'clock, to the 9:30 invite, and everybody gets on at 9?
Yeah, I asked Felix to sign in on the 9:30 invite, Judge, but right as soon as he's done at the 9 o'clock.
Okay. Okay. So then I guess we're gonna all go to the 9:30 invite, but we're gonna check in at 9 o'clock. That's probably the best way to handle it, right?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Okay. So we are done for this session. I'm instructing everybody. Please, Mr. Ramos, we have to go on another Zoom invite. Okay, we're gonna handle you, Mr. Ramos, when your attorney gets on the 9 o'clock invite. He's in a training.
Okay, so.
Deputy Gomez,
Yes, ma'am.
we're gonna go on the 9:30 invite, but we're gonna start it at 9 o'clock early.
Okay.
You get that, please?
Yes,
Oh,
Sign in right now.
so sign in right now. I'm gonna end this meeting. We're gonna get down the 9:30, please, but at 9 o'clock, everybody. I hope you understand that. Everybody have a great day. We're gonna get back on at 9 o'clock. We're ending. Anybody need to tell me anything else?
Judge, real quickly, I'm sending the plea papers of Mr. Damas to Mr. Nunez here shortly. I just got them for my signature and stuff.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Did
Thank you,
Mr.
Judge.
Nunez sign them yet? No? You're
Oh,
saying
you know
them
what, Judge? Actually, he did. So I'll send them on to Miss Becky here shortly.
Please, that's what we have
Okay.
to do.
Very good, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, I'm ending this meeting. Please get into your 9:30 invite at 9 o'clock. Right now, you have 5 minutes to get on.
Got it, Judge. See you.
Goodbye. Have a good life, everybody, because I'm not.